learn a driving technique that can help you become a better driver? Shift more smoothly and add less wear to your vehicle? If so, I'm going to be teaching you the foundation of spirited driving. I'm going to be teaching you how to rev match. But before we learn how to rev match, we need to know how to downshift our car. Downshifting is another way to slow down your vehicle. Typically, to slow down our car, we're going to press on the brake pedal. That's going to cause wear on the brake pads and the rotors. So to reduce some wear, we're going to brake by pressing into the brake pedal and letting the engine revs come down close to idle before pressing into our clutch. That is because we're utilizing engine braking. As the revs start to decline, we're utilizing the engine to help our brakes slow down our vehicle. In downshifting, we can utilize the engine a bit more drastically here. We can actually increase the revs of the engine to produce that effect a bit more. To learn how to downshift, we want to make sure that our engine is operating at a relatively safe speed. If you're first starting off, maybe wait for your engine to come down close to idle. Then press into the clutch pedal and shift into the next lowest gear. Release slowly off the clutch pedal and you've just done a downshift. But do these really sound healthy for your car? Check this out. I encourage you to learn this next part of the video along with downshifting, because we're going to be talking about how to rev match. The reason why rev matching is incredibly important with downshifting is because whenever you release off that clutch pedal, it's going to cause wear on your clutch. When you shift into a lower gear, it's going to cause the input shaft of your transmission to increase in speed. The clutch is going to be on that input shaft, and there are a set of splines around the clutch and the input shaft of your transmission, so the clutch is going to be married to the transmission's input shaft. That means whenever you shift into a lower gear, the clutch is going to increase in speed. By releasing off of your clutch pedal, it's going to allow your clutch to engage with your flywheel, which is bolted to the back of your engine. The clutch is going to start to rub and it's going to start to produce heat on this flywheel as it drags the engine up to speed. That is going to be putting wear on your clutch. We can show this in my favorite driving simulator called BeamNG.drive. I'm pressing into the clutch right now, shifting into a lower gear, and then as I release off this clutch, the engine revs are going to come up, and we also see a spike in the temperature of the clutch. So to mitigate this, we can learn how to rev match. Rev matching is essentially just downshifting the car, but we're going to match the speed of the engine with the speed of the clutch. Here, if we shift into a lower gear, we can see the clutch speed increases, but if we tap the throttle pedal, we can increase the speed of the engine to match the clutch. Then as we marry those parts back together, it's going to integrate smoothly. We're not going to have a bunch of slippage of the clutch on the flywheel of the engine. So that sounds simple in theory, but if you try to rev match, you're going to find that it's a lot more difficult in practice. You're doing a lot of motions at once, and it just doesn't always click. So I'm going to be showing you what to do and what not to do here. The best way that you can learn how to rev match is by starting in first gear. Drive your car up to speed to the point where you typically shift into second gear. Now, don't shift into second gear quite yet. Look at where your revs are at. This is roughly where you want to try and rev match to during your downshift. Noting this, go up into second gear now and take a look at the revs. This is the spot where you want to try and downshift into the lower gear. If you try to downshift any higher from here, you might risk your engine coming up on revs too much. So we want to try and shift down low to keep things safe. Now, we're ready to try and rev match, but things are going to happen really quickly. So I'm going to put this all into slow motion so that you can follow along. Currently, we're at the low sweet spot in second gear, and we want to get into first gear by matching up to the high sweet spot. To do this, we're going to press into the clutch pedal, then blip the throttle so the revs come above the high sweet spot. Then we're going to shift into first gear, and as those revs are coming down, we're going to try and catch them with the clutch pedal. We're going to release off the clutch as the revs come to the high sweet spot. If you do this smoothly, it'll feel like you've never even shifted into first gear. It'll just sound freaking sweet. However, that is not going to happen because if you're learning how to rev match, you're likely going to mess up. And the first thing you're going to mess up on is not giving yourself enough throttle input, not blipping the throttle enough, or you're going to release off the clutch pedal way too late, which is going to cause the revs to get caught way too low, which feels like downshifting your car normally. It's going to cause your car to lurch forward. If you do this though, there's no harm to your vehicle. It's going to cause a little extra wear on your clutch, which is going to be mitigated by the fact that you're learning how to save your clutch for the long run into the future. Something else you're going to do incorrectly is you're probably going to blip your throttle too much. And you also don't want to try to catch the revs above that sweet spot because it'll cause you to get thrown back in your seat as you start to release off the clutch. And something else you might do that I hope you don't do is you're going to jam your gears, which really sucks. Ask me how I know. Because I don't want you to be damaging your vehicle, let's try this one more time. And then I'm going to give you a tip so that you're not jamming your gears while learning how to catch your clutch. I have a very special tip that I've had a friend teach me that has helped out immensely. So, starting off again in first gear, we're going to drive our car up to speed to the point where we would typically shift into second gear. Now look at your revs and look at the high sweet spot. Now shift into second gear, and from this point you can drive a little faster if you want to, or you can stay at this spot. But wait for this low sweet spot because this is where you want to shift into first gear. Now we're going to try to downshift with a rev match. So again, press into the clutch pedal, blip the throttle, and get the revs right above the high sweet spot. Shift into first gear, and as the revs are coming down, catch them with the clutch right on that high sweet spot, and it should feel buttery smooth. If you'd like to learn how to rev match without destroying your gears, then I'm going to show you a tip that my friend had shown me on how you can catch your clutch without shifting at all. So start off in first gear and drive your car up to speed to where you'd typically shift into second gear. But instead of shifting, we're going to press on the clutch pedal, let our revs come down, and then blip the throttle right above this sweet spot, right above that high sweet spot. And then we're going to catch it as it starts to come back down with our clutch pedal. We are quite literally doing the exact same thing. We're just not adding the shift in between. So once you get comfortable with this, you can then try to downshift along with it. You can actually shift in the second gear and go back into first gear. Now, if you're wanting to shift a little bit higher and utilize rev matching even more, then you would simply just let your revs carry on a little bit higher with that first gear and then shift in the second and see where those spots are at. Look at your high sweet spot and your low sweet spot. Always keep track of where those are and make sure that your shifting feels smooth. If you feel like you're getting thrown forward in your seat, remember that you're catching the clutch before the catch point then. If you feel like you're getting thrown back in your seat, you're catching the clutch after the catch point. Or you're staying on the throttle as you release off the clutch. And if you're using BeamNG.drive to practice this like I first did, use the G-Force app because you cannot feel yourself getting thrown around in your vehicle, but the G-Force app here can show you if you're shifting smoothly. If this dot goes up really quickly, if it's like an impulse, you know you're doing it wrong. You know that's going to feel terrible in an actual vehicle. I'm going to show you what it looks like if you undercatch the clutch. We're going to try to catch it under the catch point here. So I'm going to blip the throttle, catch it under, and then you can see that the G-Force app throws us forward in the seat. The dot moves up. We can do that again. So I'm going to build up some speed here, go into second gear, and then I'm going to blip the throttle, catch it under, and we get thrown forward in our seat. This G-Force app is such an underrated feature, man. Okay, we're going to catch the clutch above the catch point here. So shift into first gear, boom, above the catch point. You can see the dot there on the G-Force app. It's pulling backwards. We'll try it again. Catch above, and it goes back. So we're getting thrown backwards into our seat. I'm going to show you a proper one now. So we're going to try to shift into first gear right on the catch point. So I'm going to shift, flip the throttle, and smooth catch with the clutch. You can see that we still go forward, which is normal, but you don't want the little dot there to lunge forward super quickly. Try it again. Okay, we had a little bit of a jolt, but it wasn't too bad. Once you have downshifting and rev matching on lock, then maybe you want to check out this video on how to become a race car driver. It's essentially what it is. It's a video on how to heel toe, which is rev matching, downshifting, and pressing the brake at the exact same time. It's something that a lot of drivers cannot get their head wrapped around, but I think I've found a way to dissect it so it's easy to understand. If the video is not there right now, subscribe so you can see it because I'm currently working on that. And hit the like button to help out with this video. You know, the old YouTube jargon stuff. Channel members, thank you guys so much. Hurting my hand because I had to write out every single one of your names by hand here for this end credits. It's a fantastic problem to have. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. Bye-bye.